You're listening to the voices of West Limerick 102 FM.
Welcome to this evening's show with the West Limerick 102 Volunteers. I'm Lee Parker-Bond and I'll be giving you an insight as to who we are, what goes on behind the scenes of our shows and above all how we make sure that you enjoy listening. Working life here at 102 FM is full of many different personalities, fun, laughter, busy days and much more. 102 FM began back in 2005 and is kept going by the dedication of loyal workers who make time out of their lives to broadcast to the local community of West Limerick. So let's hear about some of the people in the station who broadcast to you.
I'm Jen Milan. I do 2 music shows a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 2 and half 3.
My name is John Hickson. My show broadcasts each Wednesday afternoon from 3:30 to 5 p.m. I do a music-based show.
My name is Fergal O'Connor. I do a lunchtime show on Thursdays from 1 to 2, and I also do an afternoon show on Fridays with Fiona Croghan from 1 to 3:30. And I also help out on The Exchange with Sheila O'Regan every now and again.
My name is Mick Moore. I do the morning show Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays between 9 a.m. and 11.
My name is Mike Bernard. Normally I'm here Tuesday and Thursday mornings between 9 and 11 with a program called Mike's Morning Request Show.
Willie O'Regan. I'm involved in 2 programmes. Green Acres, which is a farming show, and that goes out every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And I do a programme then on my own, I call it As Old Friends Do. And that goes out on Sunday night 6 to 7 and it's repeated on Saturday night at 11 o'clock.
My name is Caroline Ryan and I present the Jukebox on West Limerick 102 every Monday from 2 until 3:30.
My name is Sheila O'Regan. I present The Exchange daily 11:30 to 1, repeated 11:30 to 1 at night.
My name is Pat O'Donovan. I do quite an interesting programme every Saturday at 3 o'clock. It is called A Story and a Song, and it's also broadcast every Sunday morning at 7 a.m.
Hello there, my name is Michael Cusson and my show is on Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 3:30 and it's a music show.
Radio is no doubt a lot of work putting shows together, but also very rewarding. But where do the workers get their ideas from and what's involved for making their show?
Anything that gets played on the show, I have given it the seal of approval. I won't play any music that I don't like. I don't see the point of it because I'm there to be enthusiastic behind the microphone, so there's no point in me not being enthusiastic about stuff. But friends, family, I do have a small, close circle of friends who would be as big into music as I am, and we're constantly just giving stuff back and forth, so that'll be where the main stuff comes from. Basically, if I try to describe what I listen to at home, it is anything and everything, but it is very heavily influenced by blues and rock and jazz, so there would be a lot of that across the board.
I get my ideas from newspapers and the internet as well.
Well, I started off with my own type of music, but I found over the last year or two that people texting in and looking for particular requests, I've changed slightly because I know I have more idea what they're looking for now. And I try and give them what they want.
When I first started here, I was doing a 3-hour morning programme which had a lot of different features in it. I used to play requests as well, but then they rearranged the schedule and I lost an hour of the programme, and I found that there wasn't time, because of all the requests I was getting, there wasn't time to actually do any of the features. So I decided to make it purely a request and dedication programme. Basically what I do, I prepare a certain amount of music which I know has been requested previously, and over a period of time I've got to know who my regular listeners are, who are always listening or I can rely on, so I can quite often play dedications to them before they actually phone or text in.
Well, of course, we have press releases coming in all of the time. But no more than having grown up with radio, Leah, we always grew up with newspapers, and we would have got a newspaper every day into our house. And obviously now we get a couple of newspapers every day into our house because we're a family who like reading newspapers, like news, like current affairs programmes, like all of that. Really, in a way, I suppose your head is full of all this stuff and you don't even know it. So that when you come along to put a programme together, it's all in there someplace.
The ideas I get from the show really are just from start researching on a Friday for all the shows I have, looking at different websites really for sports stories and looking at different tabloid and broadsheet newspapers. For music, it's really just a collection of CDs that I've collected for the last 18 years nearly, just going through them as well.
I know a lot of people, and people that suggest names to me. Try this fella, try that person, try that lady or something. My wife was always saying, you're not getting enough of women in. So I just go out, and I know a lot of people, and people suggest names to me, and it's up to me then to go to them and talk to them. I mightn't know them.
Well, the internet would be a major thing, but obviously what's happening in the world as well, news-wise. On the show, I wouldn't go into it, wouldn't be current affairs now, but if there was something big enough that happened, yeah, I would talk about it. And I like to hear the listeners' thoughts on it as well and their reaction to it. But mainly it would be lighthearted stuff like entertainment news and then funny stories from around the world.
I suppose during the week I might come up with a playlist depending on what music attracts my attention during the week. I might take a note of it, and then maybe the day before or the morning of the show I'd put together some kind of playlist, and that's how I come up with the tunes that I play.
There are many varied shows here at West Limerick 102 FM for you to listen to, and I asked the presenters to give me a little more detail as to what's involved to make their shows.
I interview various callers and interesting people who want to talk to me. The show consists of music and entertainment news and anything interesting I can come across.
Well, generally what I try and do is being aware that it's on between 9 and 11 in the mornings. I'm aware that a lot of people will be at home at that time of the day, and some people in the car. So I just try and help people into the morning, get them going, and when the requests come in, we do the request usually straight away, as much as we can, It's
basically what I do. If I get a request for something which I don't have available, then I'll try to source the music for the next programme. And so there is a certain amount of work involved. It isn't just sort of waiting for the request to come in and then trying to find the music. And I like to do a certain amount of preparation. And I think the listeners appreciate that. It's a very general music programme. Whatever people want, ask for, I will play. I don't have any there's nothing that I wouldn't play unless it was in bad taste. But because I believe that if I'm here for the listeners, so whatever the listeners want, I will play, irrespective of what type of music it is, provided the music's available, of course. But I find generally that maybe about 50% of the music I do play would be country and Irish, because that's mainly what I get requested.
I do the current affairs programme, and that's an hour and a half every day, Monday to Friday. And I aim to really interview as many people as I can find who have interesting things to say. Now, obviously, at election time or, when the council is meeting, politicians clearly will have things to say. But also people, engineers in the county council would be involved in that as well, because clearly roads and water, all of those issues will come into it. There are lots of other things, if somebody writes something interesting, writes a book. I love talking to people about books, trees, gardens, whatever the topics are that come up. Things really, I suppose, essentially, Leah, that affect our community, but not just things that happen locally, because national issues are also very important to our local listeners. And maybe at community radio level, we take a different slant on how we attend or ask the questions or how we talk to people. The other thing, I suppose, really, the nice thing is in community radio, we can give a little more time to people. If they come to talk about something, we can allow a little more time. But really, I've had so many different types of people and have on a regular basis so many different types of people that I couldn't actually quantify anything and everything, essentially, that's of interest to me. I think will also be of interest to the listener, and my aim is to give them a varied programme every day that might inform them in a way that maybe they weren't familiar with before, or to enhance their information about a particular thing. We do Garda slots, we do citizens information slots, we do so many different things. It's very hard to, as I say, quantify the content, but I hope that every day is an interesting programme. And usually we cover the main stories of the week, or if there's some particularly interesting item, thrash it out between a few panellists, and it's always, I must say, it always gets a good reaction, and people, which is very important, the listeners get involved, the listeners phone in and text in, and that's terribly important. And of course, I always say to people, we'd always love to see them come to studio too, because I'm always looking for new panellists and new people with new opinions.
Everything I do is about talking to people, really. Well, I wouldn't call it interviewing, having a chat, I'd say, with them. And as old friends do, it means going out and talking to senior citizens. I do it in their own houses, and I just record them. We just chat away about old times. We normally do and every program's now long, but I could keep a person for 2 hours for my green acres. It's a team. So what we do is we study the emails. A lot of emails come into us. We look at our emails and we just look at our papers. We look in particular on the farming papers. On Thursday we have the farm exam. On Tuesday we have the Independent, and you also have the Journal. We look at things that might be relevant to West Limerick, and we just work from there. And of course, there's certain things we do every week. We do a math report every week, and we do a macro news every week. We do the weather every week. So in everything we do, we'd have a kind of a set schedule.
Fortunately, I can do a lot of it from sitting behind a laptop, no matter where I am, so long as I have an internet connection. I can listen to whatever I want. You do kind of need to be dedicated on the ball